What's up? So, back to the C10 truck here. I had a little issue with the starter not wanting to crank, which I think was probably a good thing. It was a stock starter, so went ahead and ordered a high torque. But while we were waiting on that, I went ahead and ordered the new starter. I was waiting for it to come in, and I figured I would go ahead and adjust the roller rockers. And as I was inspecting them, I got these heads and this motor off a guy. Was checking the springs there. You can see the retainer doesn't touch the springs. I'll see if I can show you. So the retainer was too big. And you can see it just sits there, and then the spring has that gap right there, that gap right here at the top. So that every time it flexes, it's putting too much pressure on those springs. So then when we went and checked the springs, they don't, I'm not sure that they're the ones that match this cam. So we pressure tested them. They weren't too bad, but they seemed a little heavy, a little tight for the cam. So I went ahead and got my cam card out. And on my cam card, we have valve blocks and the retainer numbers that we needed to order. So I ordered those and started working on that. We got two of them or three of them installed right there. You can tell I got air in using the air line, keeping the valves up. But you can see right there the difference, the rounded top, and then right here we got a bigger retainer. See this difference of that's a bigger one, that's a smaller one. So the other problem I was running into with that made me realize something wasn't correct on those retainers is right here. And you can see they were hitting that retainer. Those retainers stick out quite a bit. So just from the couple crank overs, we saw it getting some scratches in there. That was the first indication when we took the roller rocker off and then realized the springs weren't touching. And then I moved on and I had another issue. The problem I had was I had to order new upper intake gaskets. These are 120 thousandths, which are about double the size of a stock gasket, which is 60 thousandths. I don't know if you can kind of see the difference there, but I started investing into researching into these heads here, and they're Dart Eagle heads that are 49cc track heads. Pretty much, these heads are made to make high compression because they are grind down and they're got a different angle on them because they've been ground down. The upper intake, say, sits like this, and instead of the heads sitting like that too, they actually sit like this, a little bit flatter, and then the intake's like this, so then you have that gap back there. So we saw a light in between the bolt, and that's why we went and got the thicker, double-sized gaskets for the intake and the heads to make up for that gap. Some of the stuff you go through when you pick up a motor off somebody. So I'm gonna change out these springs. I'll see if I can make some video of that and show you guys how I'm doing changing these springs out. Something else I should mention that I'm gonna do is those keepers are kind of tiny, and sometimes they can bounce out when you're not expecting it, or they can fall and you drop them, whatever. So what I do is I'll stick a rag up there where they can't fall down in there. That's just a tip that I would advise anybody to do. All right, so I got this tool here, really helpful tool, Moroso, and I've already done this and this and this one, so I'm gonna do this one right here real quick for you on the video. Just screw this onto your stud here. I go down until it gets about nice little snug. There's about this tight, snug there. So try to line it up where I can get those keepers out. And the keepers are in between the retainer and the valve to hold the valve in with the retainer. So use a magnet to pull the keepers out. Pull this handle back. I'm not sure how much of this you can see. There's the one keeper. And try to get the second one out. There we go. Second keeper. Then all you gotta do is slowly bring the handle down. Don't have to unscrew it yet. You wanna, so you can see I'm taking the other spring out. You can see that gap there where it won't push down together. So we'll get the other new one on there. Here's the difference, look at that. There's no gap. You press them down, it's a lot smoother. So when you stick it back on, put that line back up on there. Got the handle you stick on here. I usually put these little keepers, I usually put them in a bowl where they're angled. One side's skinnier and the other side's wider. Have that little notch that falls into the valve stem to hold it in there. So you just get one on one side, one on the other side, and slowly release it. Make sure you're watching it lock in. Wish I had a cameraman, I'd make this look a lot better. And then as I come up, see if I can bring this camera up. So you can see the keepers are in there, and as I slowly bring it up, they snap right in there. And I let them up just a little bit, just make sure the spring and them ain't gonna pop out, and we're good to go. Okay, so I've done most of the springs except for one cylinder. As I'm doing this, I'm also doing a leak test down. A leak test down. I have this number 2 piston spark hole right here. And 2 I haven't done. I've done all the rest of them all around. But if you can hear that air coming out that intake right there, let's see if I can see that air. So my air is that your left side is your air that you're putting out. Your right side is the air that you're leaking. That's how much it's holding. So it's holding 10 PSI out of 50 PSI. That's not good. A new block like this, most of them are running 50 PSI on the left, which is what I'm putting out, then 40 to high 30s on all the rest of them. So looks like I make it this done. Looks like I'm back to the drawing board of I don't know, possible bent valve or something. I don't know. We'll see. So this video is going to be continued. I'm doing part 3 next. This is part 2. I really wanted to get this only part 1, maybe only 2 parts, I guess, and have it running. But it looks like I'm working backwards. So give me a like, subscribe, comment. I appreciate it. Till the next time, see ya.